Welcome to Oracle of Confidence. You live in the loudest era in human history. People don't just chase success, they broadcast their chase in real time. Every new goal announced, every minor win posted, every half-formed idea shared. The culture tells you this is what winners do. Make noise, build hype, stay visible. But if you study how genuinely successful people operate, a different pattern appears. The most dangerous operators are often the quietest ones. They move in silence, build in private, and let their results speak at a volume no caption ever could. This isn't about being introverted. It's about power. Meet Adrian. 32. Consultant, sharp mind, loud presence. He believed visibility was the whole game. Every time he set a new goal, launch a course, write a book, hit a revenue target, he'd announce it everywhere. Group chats, LinkedIn posts, Instagram stories. His logic? Public commitment equals accountability. In reality, something darker happened. After the initial flood of "you got this" messages, his drive evaporated. He'd feel as if he'd already achieved something just by talking about it. Weeks later, he'd quietly abandon the project and move on to the next announced goal. Over time, he built a reputation as the big talker who never quite delivers. His first mistake was confusing attention with advancement. Talking about future moves gives you a short-term identity hit. People see you as the person who does big things, without you having to survive the boredom and pain of actually doing them. The brain rewards that social validation. You feel the glow now, and your nervous system stops seeing the goal as urgent. Champions understand this. The more you talk, the less pressure you feel to act. The silence of the victorious is partly self-defense against premature rewards. His second mistake was using noise to hide insecurity. In meetings, Adrian would dominate airtime. He believed sounding smart made him look indispensable. But truly effective leaders often speak less, listen more, and use strategic silence to gather information and project calm. When you're not busy rehearsing your next point, you notice what others miss: tension, unspoken objections, flawed assumptions. Silence becomes a competitive advantage. Adrian's constant commentary kept him blind. Clients started inviting him less to strategic sessions, more to execution calls. Noise had cost him the one thing he wanted most: real influence. His third mistake was oversharing strategy. He posted roadmaps, teased offers months in advance, told colleagues exactly what niches he'd enter. It felt bold and transparent. But revealing moves too early gives competitors free intel, invites resistance, and builds expectations you haven't yet earned. Adrian's ideas were quietly copied. When he finally launched, his unique angle already looked familiar. In trying to look like a player, he'd handed the board to everyone else. The breaking point came when a peer he considered less talented closed a massive client he'd been chasing for a year. No flashy posts, no hype. One day, the contract was simply signed. When Adrian asked how he'd pulled it off, his friend shrugged. "I stopped talking about what I would do and just sat with the work until I had something undeniable." That sentence hit like a slap. Adrian saw his whole pattern: announcing instead of advancing, performing instead of producing. The people beating him weren't louder. They were quieter and more dangerous. So he ran an experiment in the opposite direction. 90 days of strategic silence, no posting about new goals, no hinting at upcoming projects, no telling friends big things coming. He set one primary objective: land one flagship client with a proposal so strong it didn't need a pitch deck full of adjectives. Every morning, 2 hours of deep work, phone in another room, no status updates, no building in public threads, just silence and execution. In meetings, He forced himself to speak last, not first. He asked more questions than he answered. He let pauses hang instead of filling them with nervous explanations. The first weeks were brutal. Without external applause, his ego screamed. No likes, no crushing it comments, just him and the work. But something unexpected happened. His anxiety dropped. Without the constant performative layer, he didn't feel obligated to prove he was on track every 24 hours. The only scoreboard that mattered was internal. Did I move this project forward today? When you stop broadcasting every step, you free yourself from the pressure to look successful before you are successful. By week 6, clients started responding differently in meetings. When Adrian spoke less, people leaned in more. His questions were sharper because he'd actually been listening instead of waiting to talk. His proposals improved because they came from long stretches of uninterrupted focus, not fragmented sprints between social updates. Silence signaled confidence and created space for deeper thinking, which others unconsciously registered as authority. Adrian had spent years trying to sound authoritative. Silence made him feel it. At week 10, he quietly closed the flagship client he'd been chasing. No fanfare, no teaser campaign, just a signed contract and a wire transfer. When he finally announced the partnership, it wasn't hype, it was history. Results, not promises. For the first time, his network's reaction felt earned. And here's what he noticed. The announcement landed harder precisely because there had been no noise leading up to it. In a world of constant previews, a finished product hits like a plot twist. Silence is the setup. Victory is the punchline. The lessons from Adrian's reversal are simple but ruthless. First, silence protects your momentum. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the more your brain cashes the check emotionally before you've earned it practically. Keep your most important goals between you and the work until there's something real to show. Second, silence sharpens your perception. When you're not filling space with explanations, you see where the leverage actually is, who's serious, where the risk is, what clients truly care about. The victorious are often quieter because they're busy watching the board, not performing on it. Third, silence amplifies your results. In a noisy world, finished work delivered without warning cuts through the feed far more than another big announcement coming soon ever will. The less you promise, the more your outcomes can surprise. So what does this mean for you practically? Pick one arena, your next product, your next career move, your next body transformation. For the next 90 days, move in strategic silence. No performative declarations. No half-built progress posts. Track your work privately. Tell only the people who actively help you execute. In conversations, choose to listen first, ask one more question, and resist the itch to prove yourself with words. Let your competence accumulate in the dark. Because the silence of the victorious is not emptiness. It's pressure, discipline, and focus, condensing behind the scenes until it finally explodes into something undeniable. You don't owe the world a trailer for every move you're making. You owe yourself the dignity of building something worth talking about after it exists. Subscribe to Oracle of Confidence if you're done performing progress and ready to disappear into the work. And tell me in the comments, without giving away specifics, what area of your life are you ready to rebuild in silence until it's unignorable?